What's going on, everybody? This is Raw Dog Sports. I am Mike. That is Evo. Even the smallest person can change the course of the future. I feel like a very fitting quote for today's show because we are going to talk about a very small person possibly changing the future of Evo's team. My man, welcome in. We are also going to talk about quarterbacks, linebackers from this draft class, but free agency is still going on. More moves have been made. Kyler Murray is going to be the new quarterback up there in Minnesota.
A new quarterback in Minnesota. It's a very common thing. Very common thing. Lots of movement since we last had show on Tuesday. We're knocking another one out here on Thursday because our last show ran extremely long because right when we started, we got the news about Maxx Crosby and the trade being declined essentially by the Baltimore Ravens. Had to talk about that. We originally were going to go into NFL draft stuff, going over some positional groups, quarterbacks and linebackers, which we will get to this show, along with a small recap of some of the stuff that has happened between now and Tuesday happening in the NFL world. Obviously, actual free agency, not just the negotiating or tampering period. You can call it what you want, but it's the tampering period. It always will be to me. But that has now passed. We actually are seeing the contracts being signed, the trades actually being executed. And with the new league year underway, you're seeing releases of players, more signings, and even more trades and whatnot happening. So we'll break down a little bit of that to begin with. But this is primarily going to be a show where we kind of start to talk some position groups. And it might even be one of our shorter shows. We like to say that a lot, but it typically doesn't happen.
We hope that this one doesn't take forever. At times we get a little long-winded. I appreciate the people that are always here sticking it out with us while we do get a little long-winded at times. But I think with the position groups, it's going to be pretty simple. There's not a ton of linebackers. I mean, there are some really good linebackers in this class, and there's some guys I like later on. But off-ball linebacker is not necessarily a premier position where there's a lot of guys that you're always out there looking for. And this quarterback class is dog shit. So I feel like we can get through the positions pretty quick. I'm not sure. Yeah. Hey, I fucking feel like I'm moving up in the world. What's up, Derpy? Thanks for hopping in here, brother.
Now I feel like I need to rip a tarp off or something like that and oil myself up for the shows to make sure that everyone can see what I got going on underneath here.
Lather it up with keels and just let it eat or what?
Yeah, something like that.
I mean, you're in pretty good shape right now, are you not? You're back on the diet?
I am cutting right now currently, but yes, I have a several $1,000 garage gym that I kind of am using regularly, and I'm in pretty decent shape. If you're not aware, U.S. is currently in a conflict with Iran, and you never know when your boy might get called back in to go whoop some desert ass, you know?
Well, I hope you don't get called back. My ass will definitely not.
I won't.
I don't think they're calling back 100% disabled vets. And if they do call me back, I'm going to be the worst fucking soldier.
Yeah. Look, No Sleeves Network, it's a veteran-based organization.
Absolutely.
So we like to talk veteran stuff a little bit here and things like that. A lot of that is more for our other show, The Talk. But it's funny. Back in World War II, specifically in the Pacific, and I'm going to get parts of the story completely incorrect, but the draft was going on, and they actually drafted guys that were more our age as well. There was a group named by the Marines, like the old bastards or something like that went to the Pacific, and apparently they were just absolute fucking savages.
Yeah, I would say they probably fucked shit up. They didn't give a fuck.
Yeah, like it was a bunch of dudes that were basically not like very uniform, not very militaristic, but it's just your old crusty guys that are like, God damn it, I gotta be here. Because back then, 30s was like your 50s. And so it was guys that were just out there pissed about being there and handling business. So like it's a little bit different now. Now you get us back in at a younger age, but we're GWOTers, you know. We also know how to handle business, but they'd have a tough time enforcing the facial hair standards.
Yeah, GWOT vets are a different breed. Like the older vets, some of the older vets that I have spoken with, they are, you know what? They're much calmer guys, I think. They did their business. They did some gnarly shit. But they went and they did their tour and they came home. Like we kept fucking going back and we were there for forever. The GWOT group is a salty group of motherfuckers. So
we learned one thing really well. And so you don't play the game to necessarily play it fair, you play it to win. That's what's going on a lot right now. But again, that's probably for our other show. The talk. But today we're here to talk about football and some moves and things that have happened. Again, the league year has started. Players have been released. Obviously, our last show, we were able to break news right as we got on about Maxx Crosby and that trade deal no longer going through. It now sounds like Maxx is very possibly going to stick with the Raiders, which after all the movement that they've made, that team is a lot healthier, a lot better. And, you know, I don't think it's a terrible thing to have a Maxx Crosby on your team. So they probably are happy with that. We did speak a little bit about the possible implications of his price tag. They are still, I believe, like 40 something mil below the cap. So they're still good to go there. Lots of talk about future years, though. 27, 28, things like that, and how this will affect them if they're going to start to need to shuffle things around a little bit. But that's for next year's episode at this point in time, not for right now. The conversations that we also had was around what's going on with the Ravens and were there shenanigans involved.
100%.
And DaCosta has come out and boy, has he flapped his gums. That's about all he can do at this point other than shut the fuck up. And he's not going to do that. So a lot of, we had Trey Hendrickson and Maxx Crosby as two guys that we wanted them both. And we're considering bringing them both in. And it's not unlike the Ravens to fail physicals late in the game and cancel trades. They're known for this, apparently. Lots of GMs have come out and said that they think this is dog shit, including agents. I don't think it's going to prevent people from doing trades with the Ravens or anything like that. I know that's been brought up. Is it going to sour the market for them going forward in the future? No, I don't think it will. I think you'll have people ask a lot more questions when they are doing these deals, but I don't know that it's going to sour things up. But either way, they do bring in Trey Hendrickson like 12 hours later or less. It seems very premeditated. And when you sit back, you say, I can get Trey Hendrickson at a cheaper number without trading 2 first-round picks. That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, when you don't have to give up 2 first-round picks, you still bring in a premium pass rusher, and you can kind of reset. I'm sure it feels great. You look like a fucking scumbag. The organization looks terrible because that's exactly what happened. They realized that Trey Hendrickson, Hendrickson did not get fucking signed on that first day. So his price dropped drastically. Now they're paying him less than $30 million a year to come in, and they don't have to lose anything. So nobody failed anything. I'm sure Maxx would have been fucking fine. Everybody knew that he had surgery, right? Like that was a thing. So there is absolutely no reason to pull the plug other than the fact that you got cold feet and you realize that, oh man, we could do a better deal now. So you kind of flaked out on the deal. You look like shitheads.
Yeah. And Derpy, I know Mike absolutely feels this. He's happy to see that fall apart. Now, they did get Trey Hendrickson there with the Ravens, which is a good get, but they've lost a lot of people there on that Baltimore squad. Hendrickson is a good get for them, but it's not going to fix things completely. It usually you don't get too many coincidences in life. Like if it looks like shit, smells like shit, it's probably a shit. And that's really what it seems like in this case. I listen to Sirius XM NFL radio on my way to and from work all the time. It's really bothered me over the past 24 hours listening to the lip service that the people on there have been giving, the analysts have been giving, all being like, oh yeah, no, we understand why people wouldn't believe this, but the Ravens, this isn't anything shenanigan wise. It makes me believe it even more that it was shenanigans. You're talking about NFL franchises. They're operating on the fringes of things. They're going to be feisty. They're going to do shady shit in order to win. We have cheating scandals that could come up all the time. Like they're doing whatever they can to min-max their situations. I wouldn't be surprised. Look, Trey Hendrickson is injured, recovering from an injury. I might have even had surgery. I don't know, but he passed his physical. Maxx Crosby, you're trading for a guy who had surgery. They had medical reports from the Raiders. They did their own physical, but you're going to fail him on his physical. And you're going to pass over it because it's Maxx Crosby. He's going to be okay by the beginning of the season, possibly even training camp. There sure could be they could say, there's potentially a degenerative issue here that long-term is going to be a problem. But there's a lot of franchises out there that still are willing to possibly trade for this guy. The Raiders aren't like, well, now we got to figure out something to get rid of him because he's got a degenerative issue now. They're like, well, all right, I guess we get Maxx Crosby, one of the better defensive ends in the league, back. And the relationship hasn't completely soured. So just a weird move there by the Ravens. Ravens fans going through it. You see, the ones that, shaved their head and stuff like that because he got traded there and now they're just bald. Some of us are just bald because we shave our head because we're giving up on it. But yeah, it's a tough one for Ravens fans, I suppose. That's a situation that you're dealing with now. It would make me question my GM quite a bit.
I can't believe that they're trying to just act like. I mean, I guess they have to do that. The fact that there's not more people calling this out is kind of beyond me. Will Compton, I know we're a big Barstool
fussing with the boys in general are calling this out.
Yeah, well,
Jason Lockenfora, have you seen his Twitter?
I have not.
Jason Lockenfora, a legit beat writer, is absolutely taking the Ravens to task, calling them pieces of shit, really unprofessional stuff in the level of work that he's at, and I'm all here for it.
100%. Well, yeah, I mean, this is a shit thing to do. Oh no, you've made a deal, but now something else better might have come along. I'm not going to honor the deal I originally made. I mean, in the NFL of all places, your word is kind of is all you got. So you burn enough bridges, you're fucked.
I've brought them up before, the podcast Oline committee, which is fantastic. I suggest people go and watch that. Jeremiah Searles, former NFL offensive lineman, now an agent, he talked about it. The NFL is a people business. It is the connections, the people, it's why the combine is basically just a big mixer for the front offices and agents and stuff like that. He talked about, I've seen guys at the combine agree to deals on napkins that then doesn't get put on real paper until exactly when the fucking bell rings and now it's tampering period. He's like, it's a people business. You have to have trust to an extent with things. And when you degrade that trust, it starts to fuck with the people business. And it could make it more difficult to get some of those early deals done for the Ravens because people are going to be a little bit less trusting. However, at the end of the day, the deals are still going to get done. Like, people are still going to be willing to trade with the Ravens. There's just going to be a lot more skepticism around it. And the memes and stuff like that are going to continue rolling.
The memes have been banger. Meme culture, love it. Big fans here at Raw Dog Sports. Sure. But my man, we ready to hop into some of these other moves before we start doing these prospects?
Yeah. One other thing that I wanted to bring up before we get on to like the meat and potatoes of one of the things that just happened a couple hours ago here. A prospect that we've talked about on this show, some of the other shows that we've been on, and some of that we'll talk about here in the coming weeks. That's kind of a bigger name. Caleb Banks, defensive tackle, absolutely showed out with his size and everything at the combine, but I believe had a bloodied foot or something like that. There's some sort of a foot issue. Previously, in his last year in college, had a broken foot. Comes out today, he re-broke the foot and had surgery on it already while he was at the combine. This is a guy who was being talked about as a first-round pick, rightfully so. I'm interested to see how far this drops his draft stock, because when you talk about big guys with feet problem, that doesn't usually equate well. It tends to be a recurring issue, and now we're seeing it recur on a relatively quick basis here with this guy, which I'm bummed for him because I thought he looked outstanding. I thought that he could be a true blue top tackle in the league being drafted here. And now with these medical issues, it's probably going to drop him quite a bit. I could absolutely see him fall out of the first round now.
He could fall out of the first round, but I think that he will probably still stick at the end of the first round because teams at the end of the first round can take luxury picks. Like the Eagles are always that team, I think, of taking that fucking D tackle late, especially since, they might be losing a D tackle. They can give Caleb Banks some time to sit. And so I think there's a chance that he still makes the end of the first round because of all the work that he's put in already, every way, like on the field, at the fucking combine, and in his media avail, like everything was good. So I think it would be really hard to take him from what should have been probably mid first round pick all the way out. The medicals would have to show that this is going to continue to be a problem. I think this is probably the case of, hey, I'm going to the pros. I need to get fucking ready and I need to work out to do as good as I can. And he probably pushed it a little too hard, too quick. I mean, He already had the problem once.
Yeah, I believe it was just more towards the end of the year that he started to come back from that foot injury. He only had 3 total games, I believe, that he played. Yeah. And then, people were curious if he was even going to participate at the Senior Bowl, which he did and looked pretty good doing so. And then obviously did some stuff at the combine, re-aggravated. Again, foot issues with big guys really scares me because those tend to be reoccurring. You're talking about a huge load on those feet, like 330 pounds. It's a lot. So we'll see how that works out. But I guess we can rip the Band-Aid off here. Kyler Murray released by the Arizona Cardinals yesterday, takes a flight into Minnesota, conducts a physical, and I hear reports Kevin O'Connell was there to lift him up onto the doctor's table to get checked out. And the Vikings have now signed Kyler Murray to essentially a vet league minimum contract, $1.3 million. The rest of his salary is being covered by the Arizona Cardinals. Thank you, trash franchise. And the one caveat to it is that a no tag clause was put into the deal. So he cannot be transition tagged. He cannot be franchise tagged. So Kyler Murray is now a quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings.
You're saying a quarterback.
Yeah, he is a quarterback. And I watched his presser. He already had his presser there with the Vikings saying that he's looking forward to competing, which is a pretty common term that players will use. I'm looking forward to compete. He didn't bring up JJ McCarthy at all. But it'll be interesting to see what happens here. Odds are that this is Kyler Murray's job and his job to lose. And it makes sense. Everyone who watches the show knows that I am a huge JJ McCarthy fanboy. I've got his picture up here behind me. I'm in on JJ, and I still like what I saw at the end of the season, but I am absolutely aware the injury issues were a problem. The weird 9 stuff was a problem. There's reports of the maturity issues and stuff. We're talking about a 22-year-old. I mean, I was fucking weird when I was that young. I'm still weird now, but I get all that stuff. Kevin O'Connell famously said that franchises fail young quarterbacks before young quarterbacks fail their franchise. And we're seeing the possibility here of that kind of flipping. Is the franchise failing him, or is he failing the franchise? Only time will tell. Over the next 2 years, we will see what's going on with JJ McCarthy in this franchise. It sounds like, they wanted him to have a redshirt year as a rookie, and he didn't get that because he was hurt. And then last year, they wanted him to have a redshirt year behind Daniel Jones, and they didn't get that because Daniel Jones left. And now he's going to get the opportunity to potentially have that redshirt year, unless JJ McCarthy has some hellacious leaps and bounds and does really well this offseason to actually have a competition with Kyler Murray. Or if he gets thrust into action and looks good because Kyler Murray is hurt or playing bad. Those are all possibilities that are on the table. The thing is like I said, I've talked a lot of shit about Kyler Murray on this show, and I stand by it. But I've seen this story as a Vikings fan for so many years. We have been really good at bringing in retread quarterbacks, guys that either were good, never were good, had high potential and never met it, and turning them into really good quarterbacks. Warren Moon, Randall Cunningham, Jeff George, Brett Favre, Sam Bradford, Case Keenum, Kirk Cousins, Sam Darnold, and now Kyler Murray's being added to that list of guys who have come in, been mid-average, had good parts of their career, bad parts, but we've brought them in not expecting to be anything super special, and they've had career years and gone on, in like Sam Darnold's case, to go win a Super Bowl the next year. And I fully expect that if Kyler plays this year, starts and plays a majority of those 17 games, that he's going to have the best year of his career. The situation is set up good. We got a good offensive line as long as they're healthy. That was the problem last year, is they weren't healthy. We've got really good wide receiving options and receiver options in general, with Hawkinson being retained there. You have a guru head coach for quarterbacks. We still don't know exactly about the running game. That'll get worked out. And a really good defense. This is possibly the best situation that Kyler's ever been in.
Agreed.
I kind of talked with you a little bit before the show. I've been Vikings Twitter is all over the place on this.
Yeah, for sure.
You either absolutely love it or absolutely hate it. And I'm one of the few people that's in the middle of being like, I hate having Kyler Murray on this team because I want JJ to succeed. But also, I can't overlook the fact that JJ was hurt a majority of the year last year, and a lot of his showings weren't good. I saw stuff that I liked and that could be developed, but I can't overlook the other stuff. I want a Super Bowl before I die. And as long as it's not with Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers or someone else that's going to make me feel immoral, Deshaun Watson, like I'm okay with it. So I wish the best for Kyler Murray. I wish the best for JJ McCarthy as well. It'll be really interesting to see how the team navigates all of this. Like the absolute 100% best case scenario is that JJ McCarthy comes in, they actually have a battle, he wins out the camp battle and looks that good somehow, and then the Vikings are able to trade Kyler Murray away, because at the end of the day, they really aren't beholden to him at all. It's not like you're paying this guy a shitload of money. You're paying him $1.3 million, and quarterbacks go down every year. And so if JJ comes in and looks like the guy, now you know your path forward. You don't have to worry about next year's quarterback class. You have a tradable asset that you can actually get some good stuff for. That's on a insanely cheap deal. Like, that would be the best case. But odds are Kyler Murray is going to be the Vikings starter in 2026. And I begrudgingly believe that he's going to do extremely well. And it's really weird because I want success from my team. but I believe he's going to do extremely well. So much so that like I told you, I emptied my sports book on the Vikings winning NFC North at plus 600 odds.
Yeah. Okay. So listen, bet your money however you'd like. I think that there's a chance that you guys could do that for sure because you have a very talented team. And if you get halfway decent quarterback play, that you guys are a playoff team. You didn't really get that last year, but you were right there fringe at being a playoff team.
You're 9-7 and almost made the wild card.
Right. So
you're a couple plays away from making the playoffs still with terrible quarterback play.
Terrible quarterback play.
So if you have Kyler Murray come in and play average, don't take sacks, don't take or turn the ball over, which are two things that he does well. He doesn't turn the ball over and he doesn't take very many sacks.
Yeah. Justin Jefferson better get good at fucking jump balls, though. That's like he better. Kyler's gonna be like he's fucking down there somewhere.
Yeah, I admit I have sat and watched cut-ups over the past couple of days of Kyler Murray throughout his career. He's been electric at times. He's done some fantastic stuff. 2021.
He was in the top 100 players. I remember having this debate. Me, you, fucking Spicy Mike, and Goose all sitting around the table in the fishbowl at work talking about Kyler Murray as a top 100 player. Like, no, he's fucking not.
Like, he's put up seasons where he's been in the MVP conversation.
Yeah, technically,
he also has only made it to one playoff game, which he didn't win. He had 2 turnovers in that game. He has a losing record as a starting quarterback. Though, again, at watching a lot of content out there about Kyler and people arguing back and forth, a majority of those losses, he had his team ahead, and the defense gave up points in the fourth quarter, like without him getting a chance to get the ball back, and lost the game. So I truly do believe Arizona is a trash franchise. It's one of the most poorly run organizations. They got good guys, but bad coaching or good coaching and bad players. Like they perennially are just really shit. And so I'm willing to believe that Cliff Kingsbury and Jonathan Gannon weren't top tier NFL coaches, didn't do their best to surround him with good talent. I don't believe that the GM there has been very fucking good. He's not Sam Darnold. He hasn't been in that bad of situations, but he's been in a bad situation, and now he's being put in a very good situation to succeed. And he's got all the reason to. This might be the year where he doesn't pick up the new Call of Duty. I doubt that.
That's not no. Double XP weekends during the season this year are gonna fucking slap when it comes
to
Battle
Royale mode is coming out, I think, like tomorrow, if not tonight at midnight.
Oh yeah. Tyler better get in that playbook.
Like, he can get out of the system now and play. But I mean, he has all the reasons to lock in and have a good year. Again, best surrounding cast. And with the way that this contract is set up with no tag, he is playing for free agency 2027.
Yeah.
You look at a Daniel Jones who did just sign his transition tag, getting $44 million a year, I believe it is. If Kyler plays good, he's going to hit that $50 million a year mark.
I'm not so sure. And I was actually going to bring this up. I think it's really stupid that Kyler has this clause that there's no tag, because he has to become a free agent in 2027. 2027 also happens to be one of the deepest quarterback classes that we have anticipated in a long fucking time.
Yep.
So I don't know that his money is going to be that high, because there are going to be teams who are jockeying to go and get one of these fucking 7, 8 goddamn. We could have like fucking legitimately. What, we had 6 in Bo Nix's class, or was that 5?
Nix was.
I think 5 is the most that we have seen in our life.
Caleb, Drake, Jaden, McCarthy, Penix, Nix, 6.
6. So 6 is the most that we have seen in our life. We're going to see it, I think, at least 6 go in the first round.
Yeah, very possibly. But this is the thing, is you do have franchises that are not going to be in a position to go and get one of those guys higher up. And it's always a gamble with rookie quarterbacks. I think that class has shown that it's a gamble. Bo Nix has done average and led his team to the playoffs because he's got a good squad around him. Penix has been middling and has no knees. McCarthy has been hurt and not the 1 year that he played some didn't look great. Jaden Daniels hurt, huge regression. If you're able to bring in a Kyler Murray, you know who he is, and you're, let's say, the LA Rams who just lost Matt Stafford to retirement, and you were a deep playoff team, you're not in a position to go up and get a quarterback. Kyler makes sense because then all of a sudden you have a easy transition from Stafford to Kyler. Good quarterback to ostensibly a good quarterback at that point, if he plays well. So, like, Kyler, quarterbacks will always get paid. Quarterbacks will always. Yeah. Malik Willis could go to Miami and look like complete ass. And then Miami could say, okay, we're going to bring Kyler in 2 years, $50 million a year, $90 million guaranteed, and we're going to draft a quarterback too. Because Kyler at that point in time will be, I believe, 28 years old and a couple years of a bridge quarterback, high level play or something like that. Like, there's tons of options. Quarterbacks will always get played, especially the free agents who are paid, especially the ones who are free agents, because it's a commodity in the NFL that there's never enough good quarterbacks. I get, because playing under the franchise tag, we're talking about taking a significant pay cut. And the Vikings, after letting Darnold walk last year, if he plays good this year, the Vikings would try to re-sign him. And at worst, they're going to tag him. So, like, it would lock him in there. This gives him an opportunity to earn more money. And he's really betting on himself. That's the thing, is that by taking away that tag, he is saying, I am going to play good enough this year where I am going to get paid. So, betting
on yourself is not a bad thing.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, like I said, I will put it on the show. Producer Amber, you can mark timestamp so that we can go back to this later. I am putting it down that the Vikings will win the NFC North and they will have double-digit wins. I wish it was with McCarthy at quarterback, and it might be, but that's going to happen.
Whew, man. So without sounding like too much of a dick,
Derpy's got you going. You're all like,
oh no, well,
it's a gun show.
I feel like there might be a little bit of copium going on because you don't want Kyler Murray, and you're trying to maybe talk yourself into the idea that Kyler has been good at times. And we've talked about this. We talked about this earlier in text. Like, at times he's been good. That hasn't happened in quite some time, though. The injury really kind of diminished what he can do. So I understand that he's your guy now. You have to back your guy. He's not your guy yet, but he will be your guy. And you know he's going to end up being the star.
If he plays really well, I will absolutely support him. JJ's my guy. Like, I'm in on JJ still.
Okay.
But I had like a real conversation with myself recently of, if I take JJ McCarthy out of the equation, if JJ McCarthy's not on this football team going into this free agency, I'm banging the table for Kyler Murray. He's the best option out there available, the best guy that was available. The next closest would have been Malik Willis, but you're operating pure projection there. Whereas with Murray, you've seen it before. And yeah, we can always make excuses as to why a guy was good or bad. Like I said, I've trashed him a lot, and I stand by those statements. This is more of like, I know this team. Every other year, they're really good under Kevin O'Connell. They've done this song and dance with these quarterbacks before. Like, it's the whole fool me once, shame on me thing. Like, this is, that's why I put the money that I did on it. Like, I'm a homer for the Vikings, but this is less about that, more about, like, I feel like I have insider knowledge of how this just fucking works. Like, we're going to see regression from the Bears. They're not going to have the turnovers that they had. The Lions have all sorts of issues, and we saw their steep regression already last year, but they have all sorts of roster holes still. I think that they've gotten worse since last season. And then the Packers are always going to be there, but they just lost their best quarterback. So, like, who knows what's going to happen? They didn't do much of free agency. congrats on getting Javon Hargrave mid, but like unless they draft gangbusters and finally find like good wide receivers and things like that, like the Packers will be good, especially going into the winter, December months. But like the NFC North is going to have good teams and they're going to fight hard. But I still think that the Vikings roster is solid. Like, and now you have a floor level of quarterback play, and our floor was a lot lower last year. So part of it is Homer. I wouldn't call it copium because again, like I feel dirty. I don't like having Kyler here, but I can't argue with the fact that we had to do this. It would be silly not to. For 1.3 million, the ceiling on him is very high. And the floor is higher than what our floor was without him. So with as low of a floor as we had at quarterback last year, to still get a positive record, to nearly be in the playoffs, you raise that a little bit, and all of a sudden we're at that double-digit wins. We're at 10 wins and in the playoffs. Like, it's not that far of a leap for me to think that they will be able to have that sort of projection going forward.
I trust your coach. I trust your organization. I do not trust Kyler Murray. I said the same shit about Sam Darnold. So maybe this will work out for you the same way that did. But I don't love this for your squad. I already said before, you already have fucking Kyler Murray at home, and he's 6 inches tall.
Yeah, I take personal offense to you calling JJ McCarthy my boy Kyler Murray because I'm not a Kyler Murray fan. I've talked a lot of shit about that guy, and I think I think JJ McCarthy's got all the potential out there. My biggest fear is that JJ McCarthy is going to be the next Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, potentially Malik Willis. Like he's a guy that probably needs 3-4 years of being in the NFL before he starts to realize his true potential. And that usually is with someone other than the team that drafted him. That'll be the biggest fumble, I think, that I've seen by the Vikings in my lifetime if that happens.
Yeah. Well, I'm a Browns fan, so I'm used to that kind of shit.
Yeah.
But my man, are we ready to hop into some prospects?
Yeah, absolutely. So we can start off with quarterbacks because I think this one is going to be pretty damn simple. We'll pull up PFF here to kind of give some context to some of our thoughts. This is a one-horse show. Fernando Mendoza, and he is essentially a lock as the number 1 overall pick to the Raiders. There's less than a % chance that the Raiders would consider trading him or trading that first overall pick to someone like the Jets. I don't see that happening. Fernando Mendoza is probably the guy. And it's deserving in this class because in a quarterback needy league, you need someone that can come in and play. And this guy is the common trope is Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins for years was a top 10, technically right around number 10 statistical quarterback. He is good. He's average. At times he can put up high volume, but that can win you games. We've seen teams do that. Fernando Mendoza is a very solid quarterback. He's not a highlight reel guy, but his floor, speaking of ceilings and floors, his floor is pretty high. It's middle of the pack type in the league. He might not realize that in his first year. I personally don't think he's going to play this first year because I think Kirk Cousins is going to go to the Raiders. Calling that out now. Perfect mentor for him.
Perfect fucking mentor.
Yeah. But I think that they plan on probably trying to do him right. Sit him. That Brady's talked about that a lot. He thinks guys need to sit and mature. They'll bring Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins will run that offense for a year. And then Mendoza will be in 2027.
I like the idea of Kirk going there. I had not thought about that, but with you guys signing Kyler now, makes 100% sense. Kirk's got to go somewhere. So him going out there and being Fernando Mendoza's fucking,
his muse.
His muse would make a lot of sense. And listen, I have said some things about Fernando Mendoza. Like, he's a weird dude. He's a very, very odd individual. But you know what? He played really good football this year. He played perfect football basically this year. But that's also kind of scary, right? Like, how much better can Fernando Mendoza get because he basically played fucking perfect this year? Are we already kind of seeing his ceiling? Because if that's the case, he's, somewhere between, 20 and 30 as a starting quarterback in the league. Yeah. It's fine. You can have a fucking really long career, but is he a franchise changer? I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't have this guy anywhere near the level of quarterbacks I had. He's probably on the same level as Bo Nix, and I was not high on Bo Nix.
That's the thing. In 24, he's probably around that 5th to 6th quarterback range. And in 27, if he was in that class, he's probably 5th, 6th at best quarterback range. But this isn't a situation where like this year where Cam Ward is out there. If he was going up against Cam Ward, I think that there's a good argument that he's better than Cam Ward coming into the class, unless you're just looking at the pure physicals that Cam Ward brings. Obviously, like there's a higher ceiling with Cam Ward. But if the 2025 draft class, Fernando Mendoza would be right there, I think, neck and neck with Cam Ward probably.
Yeah, well, it wasn't a great class last year. So I would probably put him right around that same spot. And Cam Ward went 1-1, so Fernando Mendoza going 1-1 makes sense, especially when they need a quarterback so fucking bad. Now, in terms of my write-up here, what I got for Fernando, he's far and away the best quarterback in this class, but that's not necessarily saying a whole lot. He was basically perfect throughout the year, and while that is impressive, it's not going to be his reality in the NFL. He wins because he is so smart. He doesn't make mistakes. But the NFL level, everyone on the defense gets paid too. The ceiling isn't as high as guys from last year, but the floor seems much higher. Fernando will be a decent to solid backup, a decent quarterback to solid backup who loves the game and can be incredibly accurate with the ball. I just think he lacks some of the playmaking ability you want in today's quarterback.
Yeah, it's middling to average in everything except what's between the ears. Like, I think that he's extremely good with anticipation, extremely good with reading defenses, very smart, and that will be kind of his magic superpower. I think his low end is what we saw from Trevor Lawrence, like those sorts of statistics minus the running stuff all the way up to this last year. Trevor Lawrence obviously exceeded what he's done in his entire career this last year. But everything prior to that, where we were kind of questioning, like, man, was Lawrence really worth the pick? Is he the guy long term? That's kind of where I could see Mendoza's floor being. So it makes perfect sense to the Raiders. Like, I don't fault them at all for taking him. But that brings us to the other quarterbacks in this class. Again, really bad class. You see the next guy up here, Ty Simpson, very possibly going to get worked into the first round because of how desperate and needy teams are. This, to me, is the perfect type of guy to go in that second round, because for a lot of last year, we saw good things from Ty Simpson for about that first half of the year, and then it started to unravel. He's only got 1 year as a starter there at Alabama. He's a loyal guy, stuck around there quite a bit, but things kind of fell off towards the end of the year, especially in the college playoffs. He's not a super young guy. He's about to be 24, as you can see here, but he's a guy that still needs time and maturation in the NFL before he possibly could crack a starting lineup. And when you have teams that are going to be very needy, like a Cardinals team or the Steelers or something like that, this is the type of guy that you would take a flyer on in the second round and hope to not start him. This is your classic. Do not start this guy for at least a year. Unfortunately, all those kind of franchises that need quarterbacks would probably be looking at starting him very early on in his career. I like Ty Simpson. It's very tough for me to project how good he could be. Again, I think that like his ceiling is probably maybe the 15th best quarterback in the NFL in like 3 years from now. But that's a lot of things have to go right. And so it's a little bit scary. I really think he should have gone back to college for another year. But maybe he had agents and things like that in his ear and projection artists who were saying, like, you probably will go at the worst second round. Yeah. So there's an easy path to money and a career. So I get that, I guess. But yeah, it's tough with Ty Simpson here.
Yeah. So I'm going to echo a lot of the same things when I read my write-up. And I wanted to like Ty Simpson. I liked him at the beginning of the year, but they just got worse as the year went on. So I promise I don't have a thing against Alabama quarterbacks, but damn do they piss me off. Ty Simpson came into the season looking like he could be the next dude, took a giant leap forward, and for the first half of the season, he was that dude. Then people finally had some tape on the guy, and things started to not look so good. This is Simpson's first year starting, and while the physical tools appear to be there enough to play in the NFL, he lacks experience and is prone to poor decision-making when pressured. So for a guy with only 1 year of starting experience and now facing NFL defenses, you have to pray this kid goes to a situation where he can sit for at least a year. That's basically everything that you were just saying, man. There's only so many different things, different reasons you can get on this kid because he's only played this 1 year. That is terrifying to draft a quarterback with that little starting experience. It almost never pans out. I think the last guy that had any kind of success with very little college starts was Mark Sanchez. And that's because they had a defense that was fucking phenomenal. It had not a whole lot to do with Mark Sanchez necessarily. So I think
Tom Brady was like that a little bit, right? He didn't start.
Tom started multiple games over multiple years, but wasn't like the full-time starter until like I think the end of his career, even maybe not even the full end of his career.
By the way, Ty Simpson next Tom Brady.
Oh, geez, I don't know, man. Like, listen, early in the year he looked really fucking good, and he's got physical tools for sure. Got him for days, but the decision making, like he tried to squeeze some shit in, like the Josh Allen wouldn't even attempt to fucking throw a ball into. So, and it leaves you like, what were you looking at? Are you sure that you even saw what the fuck was happening? And that's some of my worry sometimes with Ty Simpson, especially when you're pressured.
Yeah. Now, when it comes to these next guys in line at quarterback, there's only one more that I really want to say anything about. And we got Nussmeier, Drew Allar, Carson Beck up here on the screen right now.
I got to write on all of those guys, and none of them are good.
And if you want to talk about them, by all means do. I'm going to have very little to say. This is just one solid capture for pretty much all the rest of these guys. They are career backups at best, mostly fodder. We're talking Zach Mettenbergers and things like that. Guys that are going to get on teams. They are going to make rosters as third stringers, and their ascension might be to a backup. But I just don't see the projection. Like, you get good height and weight on some of these guys, NFL measurables, things like that. They've run some more complex offenses in college and stuff like that. But none of them I really project as being anything special. Like Carson Beck maybe has a Spencer Rattler path of playing some more and being like an average quarterback if he needs to. But I don't trust that with Garrett Nussmeier or Drew Allar. Cade Klubnik as well. Like a bunch of these names.
I didn't even bother doing a write-up on Klubnik, dude.
Yeah. So give me what you got if you want on these guys. At the end of the day, I think this is fodder. If your team is taking a guy in the rounds 5 or something like that, that's where these guys start to really make sense for me personally. And then it's like your GM just like, I don't know who to take here. I guess we'll take a quarterback and maybe we strike gold somehow.
Yeah, so I'll read my write-ups real quick because they won't take long. I'll start with Carson Beck. So I hope this kid does really well and takes a piss on the people of Indiana for booing him during the combine. However, I think he will probably be a career backup. Quarterbacks typically don't need Tommy John surgery, but Carson did, and it looks like it has affected his game. He has good size, but the arm talent is not what it used to be, and he struggled mightily with pressure. Maybe as that arm continues to heal and strengthen, the arm will come more alive. It typically takes pitchers over a year to fully recover and begin throwing again, so maybe there is still some room for growth. That injury killed Carson. Like, he was on a kind of decent path. The decision making is questionable at times, but I think that's with every single one of these guys here that the decision making is questionable. But the fucking Tommy John really hurt Carson. On to Nussmeier. Not a fan. It has nothing to do with him personally. I just don't like his game at all. Watch him get worse every year in college. I saw him in person at Senior Bowl, and I know he won that game MVP, but he was bad in practice during the week and was exactly wasn't exactly the runaway best player in the game, but the award had to go to somebody. I do not think this guy is an NFL quarterback, but I would be willing to bet he gets drafted due to his father being a coach in the league. The ball sails on him, and the decision-making is questionable at best. I do not like Nussmeier. Of all of these guys that I'm about to talk about, he is the one that I like the least. Drew Allar, a local area kid with a prototypical size to be the next franchise quarterback of the Cleveland Browns. Said he has a case of the Wyoming Josh Allens. All of the knocks on Josh Allen coming out about accuracy and footwork are there with Allar. I'm not saying that Allar will be Allen. Not the case at all. But when you look at them coming out of college, the similarities are staggering. And then it goes into another tie-in. I think that if you looked at those two dudes standing next to each other coming out of college, you'd be like, that's the same fucking person. Drew Allar and Josh Allen. And they both have very similar problems. Drew Allar has no idea where the fuck the ball is going. That's the same shit that Josh Allen had. I'm not saying that everybody can do what Josh Allen did, though. Allar has the best arm talent in the class. No accuracy. Can run a little bit. Prone to injury. Like the comp is there, but it's not reasonable to think that he will grow into being Josh Allen. I think it was more likely that Josh Allen would have failed. And I think that's probably where Drew Allar will be. He will be a backup. He could even be a backup in Buffalo, considering that they just lost Trubisky. So I don't love Allar, but like that is his physical comp. And then my other guy is Taylen Green. I don't know if you wanted to talk to Taylen Green at all.
No, absolutely go into it. I wasn't going to talk much about him because I don't think he's a quarterback.
That's exactly what my write-up basically says. That athletic freak, but probably not a quarterback. I watched him play at the Senior Bowl, and I watched him at the Combine. He's a very live arm and can absolutely launch it with high RPMs, but you have no idea where it's going. The ball consistently sailed on him at all times that I have watched him. If you can figure out how to fix his accuracy, like Josh Allen, you could have the next great dual-threat quarterback. But I think it's becoming more apparent that accuracy issues are not typically something you can fix that easy. Josh Allen is a unicorn. Will definitely be one of the best 53 athletes on the field for whichever team he lands on. I just don't know that he stays as a quarterback. He's so physically talented as a runner, you could see a team giving him a Taysom Hill type workload. That's where I think he should be. He is a special fucking athlete. He's just not a quarterback, man. And there's nothing wrong with that. Taysom Hill has made a fucking hell of a career out of a non-quarterback doing some weird quarterback tight end type shit because he's got a big body and he's athletic. I feel like Taylen Green should like be completely okay taking a Taysom Hill type role because he could be in a massive weapon.
Like, I think that Taylen Green, if he were to stick as a quarterback, his high point is kind of like Taysom Hill, like you brought up, or like maybe a Justin Fields. The thing is that Justin Fields looked better as a quarterback in college than Taylen Green did. So, like I said, probably not a quarterback, in my opinion. Some people might try to use him as like an emergency quarterback and then as like a tight end, H-back, something.
He's 6'6", 235, and he ran a fucking 4.3.
Yeah. Like
he belongs on a football field. It just might not be at the position he's used to playing.
The only other guy that I really had anything on here is Cole Payton from NDSU.
Okay. I like
who I thought that's the guy that I would have been like out of the quarterbacks. He was the better quarterback at the Senior Bowl, in my opinion, from the limited stuff I saw. The big knock is he played at NDSU. That's lower level. Obviously, they're moving up this coming year or here in the near future. But you're playing at a lower level and you're absolutely dominating, which he should if you're good enough. This is a guy that it's tough for me to think of the names of the guys that have come out in the league recently that I feel like he could kind of comp to. Who's the guy that took all the zesty pictures for the Saints? That was a backup for them.
Oh, fuck. I know who you're talking about. I don't know his name, but I know exactly.
That's the thing is you don't know his name because he didn't turn out to be anything. There was another one of those guys that went to the Chargers for a little bit as well. I like him. I think that he's got some potential. He doesn't have like the raw athletic traits and stuff that you necessarily need, but he absolutely dominated that lower level. I think that he can make it in the league as a backup quarterback. I don't ever see starting potential out of this guy, but I think that he could end up finding himself a career if he continues to develop and going up against higher level talent and still looks decent against them, where he could find himself into a decent little backup role.
CJ Beathard. How's that?
Yeah, that's probably like a ceiling of like his success. I don't see a comp between the two necessarily, but like ceiling for success is a CJ Beathard possibly.
Understood. Hey, listen, if you can stick
Taylor
in the
Heineke,
league,
like if he were to absolutely peak Taylor Heineke, but also it's Taylor Heineke. Thank you.
Hell yeah. Eat shit, Bengals.
Yeah, we agree. Bengals eat shit, Bungles.
Yep. Oh, man.
I don't think
so I don't have any other quarterbacks. The quarterback class is fucking awful.
Yeah. Yeah. And so we got linebackers next. There's a lot more meat on the bone here with the linebackers. I don't consider Arvell Reese here, who is the top ranked guy, to necessarily be a linebacker. We're considering this more off-ball linebacker guys, your traditional Sam linebacker, middle linebacker, weak side, guys that are, in the middle out of a 4-3, not guys coming off the edge nearly as much. And that conversation does kind of start with Sonny Styles. Sonny Styles absolutely blew up the combine. Former safety, but you can't really play safety when you're 243 pounds, 6'5". Extreme athlete. Fred Warner, except not in Fred Warner's body, is what I see out of Sonny Styles quite a bit. Explosive player. Was probably top 10. Now has talked himself into the top 5 conversation in this draft class.
Yeah. Listen, Sonny was really, really fucking good. He's an athletic freak from a football family and had high level coaching at Ohio State. He was highly productive as a Buckeye and led a very good defense. He was good in coverage, but struggled at times in run fits. Maui Noah pushed his ass all around in the college football playoff. He's an explosive athlete, but I think he could still use some raw strength to really take him to that next level. He's a good tackler, though, and consistently stops extra yards after contact. So, talked about the size, 6'5", 243. I think there's still some room to get a little bit bigger because he's running insanely fucking fast. If he gets a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger, we're talking about Sonny Styles is easily, possibly the best linebacker in the league. If he can continue to move at the way he can fucking move right now. He just needs to get better in his run fits. And I think adding some strength, being able to stack and shed a little bit better that'll make him unbelievable. So I love Sonny Styles. Obviously, I'm an Ohio State fan, so I'm a little bit of a homer. And watching him blow up the combine was fucking incredible. So I think he's going to be fantastic. And when you look at him and his 6'5", 243 is pretty heavy. But when you look at him, he does not look like he is that heavy at all. He can put on at least 10 more.
Yeah. Yeah. Fantastic player. I believe worthy of that kind of top 5 grading. Next up here, CJ Allen. Little bit shorter than I guess you would want for what we can traditionally at least used to view as middle linebackers. But absolute field general. That's what I got from this guy. He's going to be a high-end middle linebacker, field general type, not necessarily the greatest in coverage. But he's the story that I continue to parrot that I've heard is that Georgia, their defensive coordinator, basically let him call the plays on the field. Like, unless there was specific things going on where they needed specific things dialed up, CJ Allen was out there diagnosing, calling the plays. And you get that from guys like Luke Kuechly and things like that, where they are sitting there dissecting what's going on the offensive side of the ball and are able to get all their guys in position. He's a force multiplier as a middle linebacker because of his intelligence. And that's not to say that he physically isn't gifted. He's not going to be the highlight reel type of player. He's just going to make your defense and all the other guys on defense better for having them in the right position. And he's not going to be any sort of a liability there in the middle. A guy that's kind of fringe first round for me, more than likely a second round guy, but extremely, extremely smart and a solid middle linebacker.
Yeah, so I like this kid. He is a little shorter, sure. But the way the linebackers are moving in the NFL, you don't necessarily have to be a fucking big dude anymore. Like, Sonny Styles is going to be kind of an aberration, like the Jack Campbells. Those are not necessarily the prototypical guys you see anymore. CJ Allen, sideline to sideline guy who can track down a runner, takes great fucking pursuit angles and knows how to scrape, probably better than any linebacker in this class. But the one big knock is that he's not necessarily great in coverage. We talked about him being the guy that calls the defense. If he's calling it, why is he not great in coverage? That is something that I can't quite get my head wrapped around. As if he can diagnose and read and knows what's coming, why are his coverage grades not? I think he's a good player, and I also got him right around that fringe first round. But I do have some questions as to why he seemed to get lost at times in coverage when he's so fucking smart.
Yeah.
Eye discipline to me it's an eye discipline thing.
And one of the things that I think we do kind of have to break some bones on and reset is our idea of the middle linebacker. You and I grew up where middle linebackers were the Paul Puzzlesnys, the James Laurinaitis. You're 6'3" to 6'5", 255 pounds, like just a big, this guy's going to break his nose, breaking your nose type of, smash mouth football player. And that's not the middle linebacker of the NFL these days. A lot more often, they are 6'1", 6'2", 220, 230, because you need to have that speed to be able to keep up with the ever increasing speed of wide receivers and tight ends. So that they're getting better athletes on offense, so you need better athletes on defense in those secondary levels. So CJ Allen is fitting more in the mold of the new aged middle linebacker role, where some of these guys that we're going to talk about in a little bit are back in that type of mold of what we were kind of used to. That's not Jacob Rodriguez. He's also one of those guys that gets knocked for being smaller, but he doesn't play that way. I don't see it. I think that he is the perfect new age middle linebacker, and he's one of my favorite prospects in this draft. Not just because of the mustache, not just because his wife is in the military, but because the guy just does everything fucking well. Everything that people want to knock him for, I've said this in previous shows where we did our mock draft. I can't sit here and pick apart his game anymore. He does everything pretty fucking good. And on top of that, he's a turnover machine. Like, he is really good at knowing where the ball is going to be and separating that ball from the offensive player. I comped him previously to Luke Kuechly. Like, I think that he has that sort of, his combine numbers were very similar. The only thing that's not similar, in my opinion, about Jacob Rodriguez here is height and weight. And his height and weight, while lower for what we traditionally used to think of for middle linebackers, fits perfectly with the current modern NFL linebacker. I love Jacob Rodriguez. I think he's going to be a fantastic get for whatever team ends up grabbing him.
Yeah, so I like this kid as well. The do everything linebacker did a great job in Indy by measuring well. He is only slightly undersized at 6'1" and 3/8, 231 pounds, because we just talked about it. That's the fucking way the NFL is moving. He tested well and showed good movement in on-field drills. He is incredibly smart as a one-time quarterback and offensive player. He understands football from both sides of the field at a high level. His only knock is that he isn't very big and he gets caught up on blocks in the run game. Flies to the ball, though, and causes turnovers when he gets there. You brought it up. This kid makes shit happen when he arrives at the ball. You can look at the PFF score right there. It's telling you 13.9 missed tackle rate. I think that is a little bit not telling the whole truth. Sometimes he is missing those tackles because he is trying to cause turnovers. And I think that's kind of what he was coached into doing at Texas Tech. That defense was predicated on getting a lot of fucking turnovers. So next level, I don't think we will see necessarily as high as a missed tackle rate because he's fucking smart and he will do whatever he is coached to do. If they say you're going to go and you're going to punch for the ball, he's going to fucking punch for the ball, and the missed tackle rate will probably be a little bit higher because he's a little lighter in the axe. That's just kind of the way that works. But
one of the things that I noticed with him, and that you will see sometimes with some of these more outside linebackers that aren't necessarily edge rushers, but outside guys, their missed tackle rates will be a little bit higher, not because they are necessarily missing the tackle, but because these guys are doing a specific role. They are going and trying to blow up the lead blockers. So their other guys are able to then scrape and get to the ball. I agree with you that some of that missed tackle rate comes to the fact that he is there trying to rip the ball out or cause turnovers, but also he has a decent anticipation to know, hey, the ball's going here. He's able to scrape there effectively. And if he's the first guy getting towards where that runner is going, there's usually going to be a lead blocker, and he'll go there and take up that lead blocker. If he has a knock on any of that, it's that he's not able to slip the lead blocker as well as he should be in order to make the tackle. But in a lot of teams, a lot of defenses, if there's a lead blocker, the first guy there is supposed to try to blow that lead blocker up so that way now everyone else is able to go and make the tackle. You see that a lot more with outside linebackers because those lead backers are peeling off the edge. You got to stop that lead blocker to blow up the play. With Jacob Rodriguez, he's got good anticipation in knowing where the ball's going. He's able to go there and meet that lead blocker. He just doesn't slip them.
Listen, I like this kid. I can't wait to see where he goes. I think he's going to be a really, really talented player. Listen, even if for some reason he doesn't immediately pan out as a starter, he will be your best special teamer because he's going to work his fucking dick off.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, next up, Jake Golday, another guy I like, and this is more of your classic linebacker build. You see pictures of this guy, and you see that looks like a mid-2010s, early 2000s middle linebacker. 6'4", 240, real solid size for that classic position. Explosive athlete and really good size on him. He's not the greatest guy in coverage either. Definitely better in zone, but that's also kind of more of that classic middle linebacker trope. Like these guys are more so to provide a little bit of zone in the middle, but go blow up the run. And I think that he's very effective at that. Good downhill trigger, will also hit those blocks really well. Another guy who I think I have him and CJ, because I personally have Jacob Rodriguez as the second linebacker in this class.
Okay.
Jake Golday and who was the other guy? Now I've forgotten the name. CJ Allen. I have them kind of in the same tier of middle linebacker, right below Jake Rodriguez.
Okay. So I don't actually have much of anything to say on Jake Golday. I don't have a write-up on him, so I'm not going to sit here and try to bullshit my way through and tell you about this kid. I'll have to go back and do some more looking at this guy. But when I was looking at the linebackers, I went after guys that I had already kind of seen, kind of at Senior Bowl or whatever, and went into those guys. But so I don't have anything on Jake.
All right. Couple other guys that I want to talk about. They got Kyle Lewis here. I'm not huge on Josiah Trotter. Are you?
Yeah. No, I want to talk about Kyle Lewis though.
Yeah. So I'll say this: Anthony Hill Jr. I have him higher as well.
Too.
I think that he's a guy that was looked at higher, especially earlier on in the process, and then you get a little bit of that draft fatigue where you've seen this name and now other guys are doing kind of more special stuff around him, so they get kind of raised up higher. I have Anthony Hill just barely a tick below CJ Allen and Golday. I like Hill a lot as more of that traditional linebacker. Good at Texas, real solid. He's like prototypical kind of middle linebacker as well. Good size. Not a whole lot. Like a lot of the stuff that I said is a mix of CJ Allen and Golday with Anthony Hill, where I feel like he's going to be a real solid middle linebacker. But Kyle Lewis, I want to talk about him.
Okay.
Another guy that's
hold on. Before you do that, actually, I have a write-up on Anthony Hill since you just went and talked about him.
Let's do it.
So listen, I like Anthony Hill as well. I think he's a really good player. He's excellent at diagnosing and reacting in the run game. Also has some ability to rush the passer from multiple levels. Showed ability to drop in coverage too, but I think his real strength is the way he plays the run game. His combine didn't do anything to hurt his stock, and as if anything, it confirmed that he's an explosive athlete. He fucking doesn't miss tackles. He is always in the right spot, and he is fucking making a stop.
Part of that production is Texas was heavy on their run blitzes, and he was always a part of that.
Well, listen, if he goes to a team that does similar type run blitzes, he's going to be incredibly successful. He knows where to be. He knows how to get there, and he fucking finishes when he gets there. So I love Anthony Hill. I don't know. He's not a first-round pick. He's mid-second round, but I don't have him way down here. I got him higher than a couple of these other guys that they got.
Yeah. This is a little bit of a throwback name for you. Thomas Davis is someone that I thought of when I watched him.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I can get with that.
All right. Now, do you want to talk about Kyle Lewis?
Yes, I want to talk about Kyle Lewis because I love Kyle Lewis, but I'm worried for Kyle Lewis. And it's not because I don't think he can play, but he didn't run very well, and he's undersized. And I think it's going to fucking kill his draft stock.
This is the thing. Kyle Lewis is crazy good at the Senior Bowl, right?
He's so good at football. He
rocks him up, and then everything else kind of brings him back down to earth a little bit. Like, this is another one of those guys, he's going to be a phenomenal special teams player at worst.
100%.
And a good rotational sub-package linebacker. Compared to Jake Rodriguez, they don't have that dissimilar size, but Jake Rodriguez looks like he's bigger. Kyle Lewis looks a little bit more like he could be a big safety.
Yeah, that's kind of what I mean. He looks like a safety. So he's an undersized linebacker with incredible instincts. He was one of, if not the best player on the field at the Senior Bowl. He was so good in coverage. He had a pick during practice and the game. Incredible ball skills from a linebacker, but he is very undersized, even by today's standards for a linebacker. He could be a safety, but he ran a little slow to feel good about having him play there. He's a really good football player, but he's a tweener, so he will have to be very scheme dependent on if he pans out. I love this kid. He was awesome to watch at Senior Bowl. I just don't know that teams are going to be able to be like, okay, 6'1", 220 linebacker. I mean, that's the size of that's Jamal Adams.
Yeah.
That's exactly who that is. But with way better ball skills.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that he's really good at football, and someone will find a way to use him. It would be terrible if he goes to a situation that is a little more of a classic defense. We're seeing so many more hybrid players in hybrid defenses. Nick Emmanwori is like the pinnacle of what people are looking for now.
I got a guy that I'm going to kind of comp to Emmanwori.
Yeah, that's where we're looking at with Kyle Lewis. He doesn't have the physical skills of a Nick Emmanwori, but he's kind of that weird hybrid. It doesn't have an exact role. Makes me think of like a Josh Metellus on my team, who is technically a safety, not a fantastic athlete, but he's a Swiss Army knife, and you'll find ways to use him if you know how to do it. All right, who else do you got out of this list that you want to talk about?
So I just kind of referenced him. So Kendall Daniels, he's going to be way farther down your list. I also have Boettcher though as well.
Yeah, I do as well.
You have Daniels or Boettcher?
Boettcher.
Hold on. Actually, let's
Boettcher?
fucking figure out how to say his name correctly.
I believe it was like Boettcher or something like that.
The fuck are the linebackers?
Whoever you said isn't even on PFF.
Boettcher. What?
Yeah.
Kendall Daniels?
Not that I'm seeing. Unless I missed him on page 1.
Okay, well, it's okay. He was a safety as well. Will you see if he's as listed as a safety in here?
He is a safety. PFF ranked 359.
Yeah. Okay. So Kendall Daniels has a fucking wild, like, physical makeup. 6'5", 242.
Sonny Styles.
Yeah, massive fucking human being. He just doesn't have the instincts of a linebacker yet. because he's a safety. Converted to linebacker like this last year. Okay. So it is a very different. You look at where his position lineups are, he's all over the fucking place. I understand that maybe he doesn't have the crazy high production or nobody knows this kid, but my God, the physical makeup is so impressive. So this is what I got. The polar opposite of Kyle Lewis. He's a large human being at 6'5", 242 and lacks the instincts of a linebacker because he's a converted safety. His athleticism is very intriguing, though, and his size should lead him to being a good tackler, but he's just not there yet. He needs to really develop into a linebacker mindset, and he could be a steal in the later rounds of this draft. He just doesn't know how to play the position yet. But this kid is one of those physically gifted dudes that's like got a chance if somebody just figures out how to teach him to play the fucking new position he's playing. Because I don't think he can play safety in the league at that size. But Kendall Daniels at the very end of this draft, flyer, physical makeup wise, that just fucking could do some crazy, crazy things. I think you can give him a shot.
He's a guy that I wasn't tracking at all, but I do kind of like the physical makeup of him. Not terrible PFF grades by any means. So definitely someone that could be a late round steal there.
All right. Normally I don't get, well, listen, 359. I didn't think I was digging that far in the weeds.
Yeah.
Listen, when you get fucking dudes that are built like that who played safety, you're like, man, I feel like we can maybe find a way to make this guy really good at playing football somewhere.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Bryce Boettcher. What do you got on him, Mike?
All right. He's a former walk-on and two-sport athlete who excelled through effort. He did not test at the combine, and that makes me kind of nervous. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean anything. It doesn't mean that he's not healthy, but he practiced in Mobile. He did all this stuff at the Senior Bowl. Why not work out at that combine? It doesn't did nothing, did absolutely nothing but media. I don't know that I like that after everybody can tell that you're healthy because you were just at senior. So I have some questions about is the athleticism going to be there to really project him as a starting linebacker in this league? When I was watching him at Senior Bowl, he came off the field in pass coverage for the few times that they were able to go into a nickel look. He flies around, really good in the run game, is constantly around the ball. I called him a ball magnet, and that completely misinterpreted the way, yeah. Without Jeremy Green, shout out Jeremy Green for making a joke out of that, because he is a heat-seeking missile for the ball, is how I mean it. He is always there. But will he be able to play at the next level? And this is going to be a name that kind of comes out of nowhere for you. Ohio State fans will know this name. Tuf Borland.
Oh, I know Borland. He retired way early from San Fran. Yeah, I know him.
Boettcher feels like a Tuf Borland kind of comp.
Well,
not athletic, but just kind of knows how to play the spot.
He's an average athlete when it comes to football. He was also drafted by the Houston Astros in 2024, if you weren't aware, to play outfield, 13th round.
Sport athlete, baby. Baseball. Play baseball, kids. Play fucking baseball.
He walked on to Oregon. He's one of those blue-collar, chip-on-the-shoulder type of guys. I don't like his anticipation, but he's a see-ball, get-ball guy. So he's good at reacting. Again, athleticism for NFL is mid. He's another one of those guys that will be taken in round 4 or 5, maybe later, but probably around that range where you're going to get a good special teamer out of it. You're going to get a hard worker, someone who is not going to put you in bad spots. And if you have to start him, maybe you see a little bit of something good out of it, but you're not going to feel terrible about putting him out there. A guy that I like, obviously looked real good there at the Senior Bowl. As far as not working out at the combine, I'm starting to care less about that for players. One, because they know it can have the possibility of hurting them, especially if you go out there competing against everyone else and your numbers are a little bit lower. But a lot of guys are looking at, hey, I can go to my pro day. I'm at home. I'm not tired. I'm with my guys. I can put out my best here at the pro day. And so I would assume that he's going to be a pro day workout guy because there isn't much for him to gain by working out there at the combine. And I think a lot of players are going to be seeing that more. But he is kind of that heat-seeking missile guy. He's see ball, get ball type of guy. Again, not huge on the anticipation for him. Not because of that, like his pursuit isn't as good because he's not anticipating where he needs to go for it. But overall, a guy that I like, especially as a mid-round guy.
Yeah, I think that's exactly kind of where he should be, is one of those mid-round dudes. I think he will probably end up being a starter at some point in his career. I just don't know that he's a 3-down linebacker. That's okay.
Yeah. Anyone else at linebacker that you want to talk about?
Not for me, brother. What about you?
I'll throw out 2 names. One right here, Taurean York. Very undersized. This is your Ivan Case size guy.
Yeah, he's so small that it makes me like, can he play?
Though. He's very productive. Well, Ivan Case's thing was being able to be a really good run blitzer, really good through the middle. I didn't necessarily see that with Taurean York. It's a size issue for me overall, but just uber productive there at A&M. So a guy to watch. He's going to fall because of that size, though, understandably so. And then there's one other name. Yeah, Caleb Elanzor. I like his athletic profile. Not the greatest tackler. Good in coverage, but not necessarily as great against the run, despite having a good run defense grade. But a guy who athletically tests out really well. You don't see the athleticism on the field as much, though. And again, a guy that is not anticipatory at all in the run game, in particular, in my opinion. But he's good at reacting with some of that athleticism. Another guy that I'm seeing like 5th, 6th round or something like that. That's an okay developmental guy that I kind of like.
All right. Listen, I don't have a write-up on him, but I saw him at Senior Bowl. Not Senior Bowl. I saw him at Media Avails. Yeah, at Combine. Did all right. I enjoyed listening to him talk. Yep. But I don't have a write-up or anything on him. So.
All right, but that's kind of it for me with linebackers. Unless you got anyone else to talk about, we obviously cut this show nice and short at an hour and a half, basically, like we always do. You boys like to talk. Look, we get excited about football. We get excited talking about these prospects and talking about short quarterbacks, short kings, right? I just love that my quarterback room is 9 and 5'9" now. It's interesting story. Look, Vikings need to be on Hardknocks. See how this goes.
That would be great, dude. I would love you guys to be on fucking Hardknocks.
I don't like the distraction.
I want to see inside that room. I cannot imagine that JJ is going to take this very well.
He might.
Think so?
Dude, I feel like he's got a good head on his shoulders, but he's also a kid. So, I'm sure that he's going to take it personal, but I also see him as, in his head, he's going to be building up the whole time, I'm going to beat this guy. But also, outwardly, he's going to be a good teammate, I think. I think that he will try to get along with Kyler. Will Kyler get along with him? I don't know. But I feel like JJ would be the type of guy to be like, hey, man, let's have a good competition and, may the best man win, blah, blah, blah. But that sort of thing. I don't think that JJ is going to be all like,
I don't know. Is JJ showing up or is 9 showing up?
I hope 9's dead. I hope 9's put into the fucking trunk and driven out to a fucking ditch until JJ reaches singularity and becomes his full self. Then he's 9. Then I don't give a shit. All these 9 memes wouldn't be a thing if JJ fucking performed well.
Correct. They would not be a thing.
No.
Oh man.
Yeah, fun times. As a Vikings fan, I would love to see them on Hardknocks. As a hardcore Viking, not a fan, but as a hardcore Viking, I don't want it there because I don't want the distraction.
Correct. Yeah, Hardknocks is not good for the team. for any team. I don't think it's been good for any team that's been there.
No, not at all. It creates drama where there doesn't need to be. So
almost always. Oh man. All right. Well, brother, if you don't got anything else and I don't have anything else, I think we should wrap this motherfucker up.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. Well, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. I'm Mike. That is Evo. This is Raw Dog Sports. Time is the most valuable thing that you have. So anytime that you give some of it to us, we are forever grateful. I'm going to give Evo one last word, then we're going to get the fuck out of here. We will be back on this Tuesday. We're going to break down another position group. We haven't decided which one that it is yet, but we'll figure that out and we'll let you guys.
We might have to be a little mobile with the times because I'm about to go on spring break. I'm headed to Florida, baby. Very early tomorrow morning.
Are we still good for Tuesday? We'll talk. Are we doing Tuesday? We'll figure it out. We're coming to you guys with another fucking show at some point very soon, and we're going to talk more about college prospects coming into it.
Absolutely.
That's what I can tell you at this moment. But with that, Evo, one last word.
Last word is it is not just spring break for me, but it's spring break for a lot of people. You're either doing it this week or next week or very soon. Have a safe, fun spring break. Enjoy a little bit of time off with your families. And hopefully we don't sign any more insane fucking people on my Vikings because I can only take so much of this back and forth on Twitter.
Yeah, hi, welcome to Twitter, brother. Because when Team Twitter goes crazy, it gets wild. Browns Twitter's been up in arms for 4 or 5 years now. So
yeah,
guys, with that, we're gonna get the fuck out of here. Thank you very much. I'm Mike. That's Evo. This is Raw Dog Sports. See ya.